Good evening, everyone, and we welcome Mr. Gaurav Bhagat once more for this special session. One of our students, Sana, she would like to give a brief introduction. Sana, please take
Yes,
over.
we welcome Mr. Gaurav Bhagat, who is also known as CB or India's 10x sales guy, a solution finder, podcaster, entrepreneur, coach, trainer, and a person who gets things done really easily.
Okay. So, if you have a problem, he can put it on the path of solving it without it being complex, tedious, and time consuming. His life's philosophy is never give in and do whatever it takes to make things happen. I will once again, run out of adjectives to describe him: disciplined, dashing, dependable, determined, dedicated, delightful, devoted, and of course, a doting brother. So, like I repeated once more, that I will run out of adjectives to describe Mr. Gaurav Bhagat. So over to you, Mr. Bhagat, your class today, and we are going to be the students, including myself. I've been waiting for this class eagerly, and I'm sure all the other students also are waiting for this session.
Yeah, thank you, Vandana. It is a pleasure, and thank you for those very kind introductions, both Sana and Vandana. And it's great to be back. I know we really had fun in our last session, and we covered some interesting topics. And when Vandana said, are you available to come back and speak again? So always happy to come in and um, you know share a few insights. I think today's session is going to be quite interesting because we'll talk about things, and some of these things are things that perhaps we are already doing, some we have seen people do, but we're going to talk about traits of successful people. So um, what things do successful people really do? We're going to talk about that. What are some of the things that we should try and incorporate in our life? There will be many things, almost 20 insights I'm going to share. So out of those 20, it's possible some of you are already doing 2 or 3 or 4, but the idea is to also watch the recording, rewatch the recording, take some notes, and try and incorporate as many of these things as you possibly can. Out of these 20, I'm probably incorporating all 20, right? And of course, once I started doing that, found that some really good things start happening. So with that said, let's get the show on the road, and let me get things started. So yes, first of all, big thank you to GYAANKOSH for again bringing me on the platform, and great to see all of you who are here today. And again, Vandana, always super to be addressing your audience. So if I ask everyone here a question, and you can type it out in the chat box, I will be able to see some of the chat answers as well. Who is your favorite superhero? Okay, so when you watch either like Avengers or DC or like the Marvel stuff, etc. So who's your favorite superhero? Like when you look at maybe a show or a movie or a comic book, who's your favorite superhero? So put that in the chat box. Would love to know. Awesome. So Ayan says Batman. Sana says Batman. Awesome. So I'm seeing a lot of Batman coming in the chat box as well. What else? Iron Man, says Madhu. Okay, super. I was wondering where Iron Man went. Shekawat says Iron Man as well. Good stuff, right? So a lot of Batman, a lot of Iron Man. What else is coming up in the chat box? Okay, so yes, these are some of the favorites that are there. And, most of these superheroes, not Iron Man, but most of these superheroes, like Batman does it, Superman does it, Supergirl does it, they have something called capes. CAPES, right? These things that they're wearing, that thing that they have behind them, capes. And I always tell, companies when I go in and I speak, and I always go in and tell, students, I always go and tell participants at my workshop, one thing that we also require, okay, to be very successful in life is something called capes as well. So to be successful, okay, we also all have to wear our capes. And CAPES actually stands for 5 different things, and let me share those 5 things with you shortly. So we need to move forward with these 5 things. The C, okay, and it's good if you're writing notes down. The C stands for consistency, right? And what happens is that agar aap cricket dekhte hain, so you'll see sometimes there is 20 runs required in the last over, and Dhoni comes and hits chokkas and chakkas in the last over. So usi tarike se many of us are actually not consistent in actions. Okay, initially we're not doing our work, maybe even for studies. We're taking it easy in the early parts, of the year, and as the exams are coming closer and closer, then we start panicking, and then we like try to mug up everything and hoping that we'll be able to pull everything off in the last over, like Dhoni winning the match, in the last over. Now, what happens is sometimes that will work, but there are times where it's not going to work as well. So you need to be consistent. The actions that you take, the activities that you do, you have to do it with consistency. Okay, so consistency is actually key. Number two is adaptability. So the A, C stands for consistency, the A stands for adaptability. We have to be adaptable. Okay, sometimes in our life there will be situations, one day the phone might not work, our phone may have got spoiled, the internet will be bad. We've all come through a time, when Corona happened, and we had to be adaptable. We had to study, from home. We could not go to school. God forbid if something like that ever happens again, we have to stay adaptable. So the most successful people are people who are adaptable. जैसे situation बदलती है उसी हिसाब से वो भी बदलते हैं, and they're very very good at actually adapting. Okay, so the A is very very important. The P in CAPES stands for persistence. Okay. Like how many of you have seen that movie Lage Rao Munna Bhai? Okay, if you've seen it, give me an S in the chat box if you've seen Lage Rao Munna Bhai. So just like they say, right? Lage Rao Munna Bhai. So you have to stay persistent. Okay, there will be times where you will be tested. There will be times where you're not sure, am I going to win or am I going to lose? I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but you must stay persistent. Okay, so you have to keep at it. You can't give up. You can't throw in the towel. You can't give in. Okay, you can't say boss ab mere se to nahi hoga. Okay, so that's something that's not okay. You have to stay persistent. The E in CAPES stands for you have to be executing. मतलब आपको action में रहना है. When you learn something, when you come to all these workshops, last week you had Kavita, who was a brilliant, speaker, coach, and trainer herself. So anytime you learn something, you have to pick up certain things, okay, and you actually have to execute from there. Like you have to say, okay, इस workshop में, इस session में मैंने आज ये सीखा और इसको उठा के आज मैं implement karunga ya karungi. So it's very very important to always be executing. The biggest problem with our generation is, and the people that we are actually training and teaching, they come to workshop after workshop after workshop, they learn things, they see things, but they never go ahead and implement. Okay, so it's very very important to be executing, because अगर आप सीख रहे हैं देख रहे हैं लेकिन आप कुछ कर नहीं रहे हैं तो बेकार है. Okay, then it's not going to be a way of actually of you being successful. So very very important to be constantly executing as well. And the S stands for a success mindset. You must surround yourself with people who have a mindset to be successful. लोग जो अपने आप को improve करना चाहते हैं, अपनी तरक्की करना चाहते हैं. So it's very very important to have that kind of success mindset. And which is what I love about what Bandra and GYAANKOSH is doing, is that you've brought together people who have this mindset of success. They are people who say we want to be bigger, better versions. We want to learn the language. We want to get out of our comfort zone. Okay, and we want to do this together. Okay, so today also there's going to be almost 20 of you on this call. There'll be more who will be listening to this later on. So this is what a success mindset is all about. It's about showing up to go up, right? So you need to show up to go up, and that's exactly what this is happening. That's exactly what this forum is all about. So yes, it's a very very important aspect. Okay, so CAPES. Okay, that's what I made you write down. I hope you all taking notes as well. Consistency, like I said, बहुत important है. आखिर ओवर में आके चौके छक्के नहीं मारने, एग्जाम से पहले हफ्ते में नहीं चौके छक्के मारने. We need to constantly and consistently be learning, consistently be implementing as well. Adaptability, very important. Okay, you have to stay adaptable. Like I said, ups and downs तो होते ही हैं. लोगों की लाइफ रोलर कोस्टर की तरह होती है. कभी कभार इतनी अच्छी चल रही है कि हम ऊपर हैं, and sometimes it's down, but you don't know what's going to happen. Will I be able to bounce back? What's going to happen? But you need to stay adaptable. You have to say, okay, right now my situation is that I have to run, so I'll run. But sometimes the situation may be that forget running, you can't even walk, you have to crawl, but you have to just keep moving ahead. You can't stop. You have to be adaptable. P, persistence. Like I said, lage rao munna bhai, right? So you have to continue to be persistent. E is about execution. It's about being in action. It's about कभी कुछ सीखे, ठीक है, कुछ समझ आया तो उसको आपने implement किया. It's a very very important aspect as well. And of course, the last one is the success mindset. Okay, so that's where the CAPE space really comes in, and that's something that's very important. And I say also, let's also be realistic, because every superhero, okay, Batman, has to face the Joker or the Riddler. Superman has to face, Lex Luthor. Spider-Man has had to face, Thanos. So superheroes ki life may be, super villain to aata hi hai. So, just like you've got, all those superheroes, you also have super villains. And in our lives also, in our journeys towards, becoming super successful, in moving towards excellence, in moving towards our destination, there will be super villains, right? मतलब villains हमारी life के अंदर भी आते हैं, and these will be villains like कभी कभार हम बोलेंगे कि time नहीं है, there's not enough time, how do I manage my school work and my house chores and work I have to do, and then I've got this commitment and that commitment, and my friends also asking for my time. So कभी कभार हमारे पास ये होता है कि हमारे पास time ही नहीं है. Okay, sometimes there is doubt, okay, like mind में थोड़ी शंका होती है, थोड़ी doubt होती है, क्या जो मैं कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ ठीक कर रहा हूँ, there's doubt sometimes that pops into one's mind. It's also a villain, okay, it's the mind is like something that kind of overthinks things at times. Sometimes there's a breakdown of communication, okay, communication with our parents, communication with our siblings, sometimes with brothers and sisters, with mothers and fathers, sometimes with teachers, sometimes with friends. Hota hai. So communication is important, but sometimes it does break down as well. Sometimes there are distractions, okay, yes, I need to jump onto a class, yes, I need to be on this particular thing, but what am I doing? Maybe I'm watching something on YouTube, or maybe I'm playing a game like like PUBG or whatever else people are playing today. So there are distractions. So kabhi kabhar distractions bhi aa jati hain apne life mein. So all of those are of course your villains, and sometimes it's just overwhelmed. स्कूल का काम भी करना है, घर का काम भी करना है, हमारे जो कमिटमेंट्स हैं वो भी देखनी है, सब कुछ कैसे करेंगे. ओके, सो समटाइम्स वी बिकम ओवरवेल्म्ड, लाइक लगता है कि समझ ही नहीं आ रहा कि हम कैसे करेंगे सब कुछ. सो दीज आर ऑल ऑफ कोर्स आवर लाइफ के सुपर विलन्स, just like Batman and Superman have their villains as well. And of course there could also be things like rejection. Okay, sometimes we hope that we'll get something, we hope that we get accepted, but wo nahi hota, and we kind of get disappointed and all of that. So all of these are actually our super villains. But yes, every superhero, coming back to Batman and Superman and Iron Man, they all have some tools that can help as well, right? Like Thor has his hammer, okay, that's his tool. Batman, so many of you mentioned Batman. Batman has a utility belt where he's always pulling out things from, and throwing them, and doing all of that as well. And of course Captain America, no one said Captain America, but Captain America has a shield, which is such a powerful tool to save him from harm as well. So yes, we have superheroes, we have these tools, and then these superheroes also have some mentors, some coaches जो उनको भी थोड़ा बहुत guide करते हैं, थोड़ा बहुत सिखाते हैं, right? Like for example, this was Doctor Strange, right? So Doctor Strange the movie, उनके अंदर we had Tilda, I think it was, and then you had Star Wars के अंदर you had Yoda, right? So he teaches Luke Skywalker and all the others how to use the lightsabers and all of those things as well. And of course Wonder Woman had her mother and aunt as well who taught. So these were their mentors. वो मतलब सुपर हीरो नहीं थे, उनको भी किसी ने सिखाया था, उनको भी tools दिए गए थे कि कैसे आपने इनको use करना है. So yes, that is how these people also had teachers, coaches, and mentors. Vandana is your coach, mentor, just like Yoda is to, like I said, the Jedi's. And my question to you all today is: so superheroes on the call today, and all of you, all 23 of you are superheroes. Do we have your permission to be your trainers and give you the tools that you need to succeed in your journey to be more effective and 10x your life? So अगर आपका आंसर इसके लिए yes है, तो आप chat box में Y डालें या YES डालें, that yes, you are our superheroes and we want permission to be your coaches, your trainers, your Yodas and more. Awesome, love it. So good to see that. Yes, coming in from Ayan, from GYAANKOSH, from Sana, from Madhu, Divya, Aditya, okay, awesome, Shakawat, super, Renu, lovely. Okay, so in the next 20 to 25 minutes before I take on your questions, I'm going to give you the top 20 things. Okay, but before that, a little bit about myself. You already know who I am, so we're going to do this a little quicker. I am a solution finder. My job is to make things easy. My job is to find solutions to people's problems, their needs. I am an entrepreneur, that runs a few companies. I'm a coach and trainer. I'm of course a public speaker, and I speak on stages online and offline in India and abroad. So that's what I do. I'm also someone who has a podcast, and hopefully the books will be out shortly as well. My superpower is basically like Batman has his superpower and Superman has his superpower. So my superpower is I'm solution focused. Boss, मतलब आप मुझे बता दो कि आपको solution क्या चाहिए, and it's my job to find that solution. मुश्किल से मुश्किल चीजों को भी मैं आसान बनाता हूँ. I simplify things. I get the job done. I leave no one behind. Okay, when someone joins my movement, when someone joins up with me, I said, boss, आपको पीछे नहीं छोड़ेंगे. सब लोग साथ ही जीतेंगे. And of course, I always say this is I do whatever it takes. Okay, so that's a very important aspect of my life, and hence I even wear a wristband. Okay, and the wristband also always says I do whatever it takes. Right, no excuses. So I always wear this. So a lot of what I've achieved in my life, and some of you know the things that I've achieved. We spoke about that in the last session, so I won't bore you with that now. But it has happened because of certain disciplines. It has happened because of certain traits. It has happened because of certain characteristics. And it is today for me to actually go ahead and share 20 of those. Okay, काफी ज्यादा होगा. आप में से किसी को लगेगा कि यार 20 मतलब कुछ ज्यादा नहीं हो गया. But आप सोचो okay, and write them down when they keep coming and say, am I doing this or am I not doing this? And if I'm not doing this, can I start doing this? Okay, and these are not difficult things. मतलब ऐसी चीज नहीं है जब I'm saying you have to climb Mount Everest. These are simple things that I'm going to ask you to do, right? And अगर आप उसमें से अभी आप 3 करते हैं तो आप 20 मत ट्राई करें, 3 से 4 करें, 4 से 5 करें. So one by one, okay, keep adding some of these things that you think you can do, and it'll actually be super helpful. If you understand that, just give me a U in the chat box that yes, I understand. If I'm doing 3, I'll move to 4. If I'm doing 10, I'll move to 11. Okay, and I won't try and do everything. I'll try and bring these on. Awesome, love it. Great to see the yeses, U's coming in. Lovely. Okay, so that is what brings us today, and let's talk about the top traits of the greats. Okay, the top traits of the most successful people who I have happened to meet over the years, and of course, have happened to work with, and obviously, some of my own as well. So, like I said, focus on these ones, and I'm going to give you the top 20. So, number one, okay, invest in building relationships. Okay, in this life, जो लाइफ हम जीते हैं, nothing matters more than relationships. पैसा आएगा, पैसा जाएगा. Okay, all of that will gonna happen, but in the end, what matters most is relationships. Okay, relationships with your parents, relationships with your grandparents, relationships with your siblings, relationships with your friends. Okay, relationships with your colleagues in due course. So all of this is very very important. Relationships with your teachers. तो ये चीजें जो है, रिलेशनशिप जो है, इसमें थोड़ी मेहनत चाहिए होती है टू बिल्ड देम. सो इन्वेस्ट इन बिल्डिंग रिलेशनशिप्स. ओके, गिव टाइम is very important to relationships. Relationships are not built in a day, okay, but relationships are built daily. That is the truth. So always invest in building these relationships, okay, and that will mean आपको थोड़ा time devote करना पड़ेगा, आपको थोड़ी energy devote करनी पड़ेगी, but the best people, okay, know, and the most successful people know that it's all about relationships. कल जब अगर कोई फंसेगा तो फोन उठा के आपको फोन करेगा कि can you help me? Okay, that is a great sign of a good relationship. In good times they'll be there for you, in bad times they'll be there for you. So relationships is very very important. If you get this and you understand this, type in a number 1, because this is the first one. Okay, type in number 1 in the chat box if you agree that boss, relationships मतलब सब कुछ है, right? पैसा आएगा पैसा जाएगा, but relationship की value जो है वो बहुत important है. Awesome, great to see those ones coming in. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is also in capes, but like I said, consistency is key. ओके, लास्ट ओवर में आके चौके छक्के, अगर हर टाइम आप सोचेंगे कि चौके छक्के मार के आखिर ओवर में मैं धोनी की तरह या कोहली की तरह मैच आपको जिता दूंगा या जिता दूंगी, just know that it's not going to happen. One time, okay, you'll swing the bat, the ball will fly up in the air and you'll get caught in the boundary. Okay, so you just have to keep doing consistent action. Okay, so consistency is key. थोड़ा करो, but consistency से करो, फिर करके उसको थोड़ा बढ़ाओ. Don't try and do too much right in the end, okay, because what's going to happen is it's going to lead to stress, it's going to lead to a whole bunch of problems. Do a little bit every day. Okay, break big things into small things, but keep continuing to focus on that. This could be in your studies, this could be in your sports, this could be in your hobbies, this could be in anything, but just know this, that consistency is key. KEY. If you understand this one, just give me a KEY in the chat box for key. That yes, consistency is key. हमको पता है कि आखिरी ओवर में आके चौके छक्के नहीं मारने. We have to build up our innings. T20 मैच नहीं है ये. ठीक है, टेस्ट मैच है और टेस्ट मैच की तरह ही हमने कंसिस्टेंटली खेलना है. Awesome, love it. Let's go to number 3, and I also hope you're writing some of these down as well as we move forward. Let's go to number 3. Okay, very very important one. कभी कभार, how many of us has it happened with that we start things and we say यार ये तो करना ही है, you know, it could be a course, could be a book, could be a hobby, पर हम उसको खत्म नहीं कर पाते. Okay, so if this ever happened to you, just give me a me in the chat box. वो सबके साथ होता है कि हम कभी कभार कुछ चीज स्टार्ट तो कर लेते हैं लेकिन खत्म नहीं कर पाते. So if that ever happens to you, just give me a me, me in the chat box. You know, if that's ever happened with you, great. And that's absolutely okay. That's also human nature. But know this, okay, the most successful people, okay, the people who are the greats, and since we're talking about top traits for the greats, they're good at starting things. ठीक है, कुछ start करना है तो शुरू जरूर करते हैं, but even better at finishing those things, right? तो अगर कुछ start किया है तो उसको खत्म भी करते हैं, and until it's finished, they keep, you know, focusing on that. They keep, you know, basically, you know, doing that. And if they've ever, you know, falling behind, they write it down that, okay, this is something I need to do, this is something I need to finish. Okay, so again, like I said, they're good at starting things, but they're unbelievable at finishing them. Because बहुत लोग हैं जो शुरू करके मतलब छोड़ देते हैं बीच में. कभी कभार हो सकता है, but it cannot be the rule. Okay, it can be an exception, but it can't be a rule. So if you get this one, that yes, okay, I will start things and I'll work towards finishing them, give me a 3 in the chat box if you get number 3 as well. Awesome, love it, great. Ayan, Renu, Madhu, Devya, Sana, super. Okay, awesome, good to see all the answers coming in the chat box as well. Okay, let's go to number 4. बहुत important point है ये. Okay, बहुत important point है. You need to treat each person with the highest level of respect. Okay, कभी कभार क्या होता है कि लोग उन्हीं को रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं जिनके पास, यू नो, पैसा होता है, जिनके पास मतलब इज्जत होती है. You know, so now what happens in that case is that, you know, they say treat everyone like a millionaire. Okay, so treat everyone like they have money. Okay, it's not that just because this person, you know, doesn't have any money, or this person, you know, isn't doing very well in life, you'll treat them badly, and someone who's doing very well in life, you'll treat them differently. Okay, so my coach and mentor, who is Grant Cardone, always told me this. He said, treat each and every person you meet like a millionaire. छोटा आदमी हो या बड़ा आदमी हो, right? अपना छोटा, you know, औरत हो या बड़ी औरत हो, whatever it is, you treat them like a millionaire. Because हो सकता है कि आज उनके पास पैसा ना हो, आज उनके पास, you know, दौलत शोहरत ना हो, पर जब उनके पास होगी तो वो हमेशा याद रखेंगे कि उस टाइम भी जब मेरे पास कुछ नहीं था, उस पर्सन ने मुझे बहुत रिस्पेक्ट के साथ ट्रीट किया. Okay, treat me, give me a lot of respect, and hence I need to give back. Okay, so if you understand and accept this point as well, give me a respect, RESPECT, in the chat box, that we must treat each and every person with the highest level of respect. Okay, treat every person like a millionaire. If they are or if they're not, doesn't matter, but treat every person like a millionaire. Super. Because I will tell you this, is that if you treat every person like a millionaire, okay, that is how you will become a millionaire as well. Okay, in terms of wealth, in terms of, you know, jo duaएं मिलेंगी आपको, very very important. Awesome, great to see all the respects coming in the chat box. Let's look at number 5. Okay, this is a big one. अगर आप कुछ promise करते हैं, okay, you must deliver it. You must go ahead and fulfill that promise. So what the most successful people do is they make big promises. Okay, they make big commitments, and then they go out there and they put in the work to make that actually happen. तो promise करते हैं बहुत लोग, ठीक है, and promise करके करके फिर भूल जाते हैं, मतलब याद नहीं होता, और फिर आप सोचते रहते हैं उसने तो promise किया था. Okay, but पता नहीं क्या हुआ. How many of you know people like this? Give me a K in the chat box अगर आप जानते हो इस टाइप के लोग जो मतलब promise तो बहुत बड़े बड़े किए उनने, पर उसके बाद गायब ही हो गए. होता है, हम सब जानते हैं ऐसे लोग. So again, you know, if you have given a promise, okay, it's very very important for you to also write that down and say, okay, I have made this promise and now it is time for me to deliver. In fact, अगर उनकी expectation थी कि मुझे इतना, you know, इतना मिलेगा, तो आपको ट्राई करना है कि उनकी उम्मीद से ज्यादा आपको देना चाहिए. So even try and give them more than they expected. So they'll be like, oh my god, like that's amazing. Okay, so if you are going to do this now, give me a D in the chat box that yes, number 5, I will deliver on my promises, I will commit big, and I will deliver even bigger. Awesome. Let's move forward to number 6. बहुत important है, right? Problems हम सबकी life में आते हैं. Okay, we always have, you know, problems that pop up. We always, you know, have issues that come up. But आपको हर problem के अंदर भी opportunity ढूंढनी है. if you look at some of the, the most successful companies in the world, some of the most successful people in the world, okay, they went and they solved a problem. Okay, and people buy, मतलब लोग जब खरीदते हैं, they buy for two reasons. Number one is that there is a need or a problem that has to be solved. तो दैट्स द प्राइमरी रीजन कि कोई दिक्कत थी, वो दिक्कत को सॉल्व की, और एंड उसके बाद ही मतलब वो कंपनी अपना बड़ी, ओके, एंड दे स्टार्ट डूइंग ग्रेट. Look at the platform we're on right now, right? I mean, 4 years ago, if you were saying, oh, we're going to jump onto a Google Meet call and there's going to be a Zoom call and all that, मतलब जरूरत ही नहीं थी, कोई करता ही नहीं था. But pandemic आया, कुछ option नहीं था, school हम जा नहीं पा रहे थे, so hence, there was a problem. And then Zoom and, all the others, they jumped on and they said, hey, you know what, this is a problem. I think this is an opportunity. And then they created this platform, and today we're connected from different parts of the country. Okay, Vandana is in Calcutta, I'm in Noida. So different people are in different parts of the country. Where are you signing in from? Type out in the chat box. आप कौन से city से अपना sign in कर रहे हैं? Okay, where are you joining the call from? So just look at it. Okay, there was a problem and we were able to solve that problem. All right, let's see who's coming in from where. Renu is here from Rajasthan and is from Modi Nagar. Super, right? And Shikawat is from Pilkhuva, Sana is from Delhi, Divya is from Delhi, Asal is from Delhi. Great, see? So the point is, अगर problem आती है, तो हर problem को आप problem not as, don't look at it as a problem, look at it in fact as an opportunity. An opportunity to maybe improve ourselves, an opportunity to maybe help someone, an opportunity for maybe this being a solution for someone else's problem, opportunity, right? So again, if you agree with this one, give me a 6 in the chat box that yes, okay, problems will be seen as opportunities, opportunities to help someone, opportunities to help ourselves, opportunity to improve the world. Who knows, maybe in a few years from today, some of you will come back and say, you know what, I was able to take that problem and make it an opportunity and create, wealth, create employment, and create more. Awesome, love it. Let's look at number 7. बहुत important है. Okay, and if one thing you want to write down is learners are earners. Okay, learners are earners. तो जो ग्रेड्स हैं ये हमेशा अपने आप को एजुकेट करते रहते हैं, हमेशा अपनी पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट पे वर्क करते रहते हैं. Believe it or not, okay, Grant Cardone, again, the guy who coaches me, even today he has 3 coaches. He is 63 years old. He is a billionaire. मतलब बिलियनर के अंदर इतने ज्यादा जीरोस हैं कि मैं पता ही नहीं कितने जीरोस हैं. खुद का एरोप्लेन है, 2 हेलीकॉप्टर हैं, जहाज है, मतलब पता नहीं क्या क्या है, रोल्स रॉयस है. अभी भी वो कोर्सेज करते रहते हैं टू इम्प्रूव देमसेल्व्स, अभी भी वो किताबें पढ़ते हैं, अभी भी वो, उनकी भी 2-3 कोचेस हैं. सो इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू बी, एंड राइट दिस वन डाउन, अ लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्नर. लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्नर मतलब पूरी लाइफ पढ़ना है. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि एक दिन स्कूल कॉलेज खत्म हो गया तो सोचा बहुत अब तो हो गया काम, अब तो जरूरत ही नहीं है. यू हैव टू बी अ लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्नर, and the most successful people, they invest in their education and personal development all the time. Okay, never ever stops. I know some of you thinking यार हमने सोचा यार स्कूल कॉलेज खत्म हो गया तो पढ़ाई खत्म हो गई है, but it's not like that. Okay, so always invest in your education and personal development. Give me an ED in the chat box if you are going to be focusing on this one and will be lifelong learners yourself. Warren Buffett also says this. So true, right? And they would always say the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Okay, matlab, and no one here should be in a position where you actually start going down that path at all. Let's look at number 8. Okay, बहुत important है. कभी कभार लोग, and of course Dalai Lama, very wise man, and what he said is, when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know, but if you listen, you may learn something new. Right? Think about that. मतलब भगवान ने हमको 2 कान इसलिए दिए और 1 मुंह इसलिए दिया है बिकॉज हमारा काम है सुनना ज्यादा, बोलना कम. बट उल्टा हम लोग उल्टे चलते हैं. मतलब they always think that हमको तो सब कुछ पता है, right? So the only time you should be talking more and listening less is when we're on a session like this where I have to do all the talking and you have to do the listening. But apart from that, always, okay, quietly listen. The best, most successful people I know are people who know how to listen more and talk less. All right. So if this is something that you're going to do, okay, give me a LESS in the chat box that yes, okay, I will talk less, I will listen more, I will take other people's viewpoint as well. हो सकता है कभी कभार आपके मम्मी पापा अंकल आंटी कोई बड़े भाई बहन कोई आपके अध्यापक टीचर, someone might be just telling you or trying to tell you something and you don't want to listen. Okay, but the point is listen. Okay, understand what they're trying to say and then speak and then tell them your point of view as well. So very very important. Okay, number 9, very very important. ओके जो कंफर्ट जोन है हमारा, कंफर्ट जोन के अंदर अपने मीडियोक्रिटी रहती है. ओके एंड व्हाट हैपेंस इज समटाइम्स इफ यू टू कंफर्टेबल, इफ वी हैव एवरीथिंग जस्ट गिवन टू अस ऑन अ प्लेटर, अगर हमारी लाइफ में कोई स्ट्रगल नहीं होता है तो क्या होता है कि सक्सेस अपने आप को नहीं मिलती है उतनी आसानी से. ओके I'll give you an example. Like recently, okay, my children, I have, a son who's in class 11, a daughter who's in class 7. Comfortable थे, नोएडा में पढ़ते थे, school भी आसपास था, friends सब आसपास थे. मतलब their entire life would, operate in a 5 kilometer radius. And then I would see that, and I would say that, but my mother and father, they had a similar life for me, but they said that you have to get uncomfortable. So, they took me and they put me in a boarding school, which is in Kasoli, Simla Kasoli ke paas, right? And I went, 6.5 hours away from home. कोई फोन वोन नहीं था, चिट्ठी भी लिखते थे हम, मतलब एक बारी हफ्ते में चिट्ठी लिखते थे, टेल देम हाउ वी वर, बट इट मेड अस stronger people. So it's very very important to take yourself out of your comfort zone, because that is where your growth happens, right? And now our children are studying in a place which is 12 hours away from home. मतलब लोग बोलते हैं हम पागल हो, मतलब आपको आसपास कुछ नहीं मिला, आपने उनको 12 घंटे दूर भेज दिया. But the point is that again, now they're already shining over there. यहाँ इतने कंफर्टेबल हो जाते हैं हम कभी कभार अपने कंफर्ट जोन के अंदर, that we don't get to shine. So just know this, that if sometimes you're being put out of your comfort zone, if you have a parent or a teacher or a coach, suppose आप कोई sport खेलते हैं, I know some of you are into golf and all that as well, तो हो सकता है कि कभी कभार आपको थोड़ा ज्यादा पुश किया जा रहा है. जस्ट नो दैट जो एक्सीलेंस है, ओके, जो ग्रेटनेस है, वो आपके कंफर्ट जोन के बाहर एग्जिस्ट करती है, कंफर्ट जोन के अंदर नहीं एग्जिस्ट करती. तो अगर आपको थोड़ा अनकंफर्टेबल होना पड़ रहा है, अगर आपको थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा करना पड़ रहा है, दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली ओके. ऑलराइट, सो इफ यू एग्री विद दैट, गिव मी अ ओके इन द चैट बॉक्स. ओके, that yes, we need to stretch beyond our comfort zones. Awesome, love it, right? आपका तो chat box मतलब बिल्कुल राजधानी की तरह भाग रहा है. Like that's the way it should be. Okay, super. Let's go to number 10. All right, there are going to be some really good ones coming. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वाला है पॉइंट. और ये ज्यादातर मैं ग्रोन अप्स में ज्यादा देखता हूँ, मतलब बच्चों में तो थोड़ा कम देखने को है, बट ग्रोन अप्स में ज्यादा है. कॉर्पोरेट में तो मतलब पैंडेमिक बना हुआ है ये. ओके, जब भी कुछ गलत होता है ना, तो सब बोलते हैं सर मेरी गलती नहीं है, प्रोडक्शन की गलती है, अकाउंटिंग की गलती है, कुरियर की गलती है, राइट? मतलब सबको टोपी पहनाते हैं, लेकिन खुद कभी नहीं मानेंगे कि उनकी गलती है. But I'll tell you what, the most successful people, they will never ever blame anyone. अगर कुछ गलत हुआ है, something is not gone right, they will always accept responsibility. Like, for the companies that I run, irrespective of who made a mistake, okay, it could be logistics, or it could be shipping, it could be a courier company, it could be accounting, could be production. I have to take responsibility. If something goes wrong, I would say it's my company, it's my fault. तो उसी तरीके से अगर आपके साथ भी आपने कभी कुछ गलत किया है, some error has happened, don't blame, सर मैम कल लाइट नहीं थी, इंटरनेट हमारा खराब था, पापा मम्मी ने या बाहर बुला लिया, या अंकल ने कुछ बोल दिया इसलिए हम घर चले गए. Just never ever blame anyone. Okay, always accept responsibility. If something like this pops up, if something goes wrong, just say I'm sorry. Okay, it's happened because of me, and I will try and not do it in the future, right? If you understand this one, give me a blame in the chat box. BLAME. Okay, that I will not blame anyone. I will now take responsibility. There will be no blame. बहुत powerful point है. Like I said, अगर ये आपने संभाल लिया, ये आपने समझ लिया, तो मतलब life आपकी बदल जाएगी. Trust me on that one. Okay, one very very powerful point. Okay, number 11, very, very important. Okay, today when I came onto this call, our starting time was 7 o'clock. I was here at 6:56. We already had 10 people who were already here by that time. Okay, that is a trait of the great. जो ग्रेड्स हैं वो जल्दी आ जाते हैं. 7 बजे का टाइम है और लोग बोलते हैं जी 7 बजे का टाइम था, मैं तो 7 बजे आ गया, या मैं 7 बजे आ गई. Okay, on time is also late. Okay, anytime someone says, oh, but the meeting is starting, I'm like, boss, 5 मिनट जल्दी पहुंच जाओ, 10 मिनट जल्दी पहुंच जाओ, बिकॉज अगर आप प्लान करोगे कि I'll reach on time, there's a good possibility that you might be late. So always show up early. Okay, if you've given someone a time of 7 p.m., try and come 5 minutes early. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And if you can, it's okay to stay late. Okay, if the teacher is saying yes, it's okay, I'm not going away right now, I'm going to be here for some time longer, it's absolutely okay to stay late as well. So show up early and stay late. Okay, that's a big factor. And especially जब आप आगे जाके अब jobs में आओगे, you come into working situations and all of that, what you'll find is that when you show up early, you'll meet interesting people. Okay, you'll be able to have conversations with them. If you stay late, again you'll be able to again meet people, do interesting things. So if this is something you are okay with, give me a number 11 in the chat box, that I get it, I know why I need to show up early and why I need to stay late as well. Awesome, Renu. Super. Right? Kavita mentioned this as well. Lovely. Yeah. Super. Okay, let's go to number 12. आपकी संगत जो है, okay, the company that you keep is very, very important. Right? So many of us have heard, when we have bad company, bad things will happen. When we have good company, good things will happen. I'm sure you've all heard of this. If you've heard of that, give me an H in the chat box. लोग बोलते हैं कि आपकी संगत कैसे है, who you actually hanging out with, company matters 100%, right? So the greats, the people who are the most successful, they're very cognizant. Okay, they're very careful about who they spend their time with. Okay, whose company they are roaming around in. So they always want to surround themselves with achievers. They always want to surround themselves with people who are pushing the limit, people who are pushing to go higher, people who are pushing to get better, people who are learning more. Again, the entire GYAANKOSH platform, all of you are achievers. All of you, I mean, you have a lot of commitments, but you said we also want to be better. Okay, so surround yourself with achievers. Very, very important point. And try and push aside some of those people you are saying yaar bekar hai, kya kar raha hai, so that's something that you shouldn't really be doing. If you get this one, give me a 12 in the chat box, that okay, I understand number 12, and it is about surrounding ourselves with achievers. Awesome. Super great, good to see all those 12s coming in. Okay, we spoke about this last time as well. Okay, they write down their goals. The most committed, okay, the greatest people are committed towards their goals. तो एक तो है कि goals अपने लिखते भी हैं, और उन goals के पीछे they go after them with 100% commitment. Okay, कुछ भी हो जाए, goal अगर लिखा है तो action हमने उस goal की तरफ लेना ही लेना है. We cannot not be taking action. So the most committed, okay, are people, and the greats are again people who are committed. They write down their goals and they go after their goals with 100% commitment. If you agree with this one, give me goals, GOALS, in the chat box. That yes. And how many of you actually start writing down your goals? Because last time हमारा जो session हुआ था, मैंने बोला था कि goals आपको लिखने चाहिए. If you are writing goals, give me a ME in the chat box if you have started writing down your goals and you are taking those actions. Awesome, that's brilliant. Right? Okay, Ayan, super. Renu, brilliant. Madhu, Sana, Divya, Aditi, okay, Aditya, Piyush, Shakhavat, lovely. Okay, that's very, very good. Very, very good. So, because goals is the key thing, okay, that changes everything. Let's go to number 14. So, if there is something that you really, really want, okay, something that you want in your life, okay, if there are those dreams that you have, if there is that ambition that you have, if there is that mark you're trying to make, if you're trying to come first in class, or just do great in class, or aspire towards, that particular, whatever that want, okay, दिक्कतें आएंगी. Cutting को मुझे एक दो दिन मतलब 4 in the chat box if you think one is important and this is something that we need to be doing. Lovely. Again, okay, we have our goal, we have our target, we have हमारा जो ambition है, तो आप कभी भी उसको lower ना करें. Okay, in fact, what you want to do is increase your action. Like, let's just say if you were in school, okay, in school में you were aiming for 95%, and आपको लगा कि यार 95% तो नहीं आ रहे, तो ये नहीं कि आप 95% को 90 कर दें. Okay, what you want to do is you want to study. Suppose you are in work, okay, and in work you were trying to earn a particular income that month, and आपको लगा है कि okay, I've not been able to do that kind of sale, or I've not been able to do that kind of turnover. समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या हो रहा है, लेकिन आप हमेशा अपना टारगेट नहीं गिराएंगे. टारगेट like I would always say that okay, I want to do so much business, but and then I would say like अच्छा 100 करना है, but हुआ मेरे से 50. अब ये नहीं कि फिर मैंने टारगेट अगले साल गिरा दिया. I said, boss, करना 100 ही है. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my action. I'm going to increase my outreach. I'm going to like bring on more people. I'm going to bring on more systems. I'm going to go out and meet more people. So what I did is I did not lower my target. I increased my action. I increased my activity. If you understand this, just give me a U in the chat box that never ever lower your target. Increase your action, increase your activity, increase the things that you're doing. Okay, never ever lower your target. बहुत लोग गलती करते हैं जब उनको लगता है यार 100 तो नहीं आएंगे 50 कर लेते हैं. बॉस बहुत बड़ी गलती है. Okay, something you should totally not go down this path at all. Awesome, love it. Never lower your target. Let's look at number 16. Very very important. Okay, how many of you have known people जिनके पास पैसा आया भी था और चला भी गया, so they're not able to hold on to their money, right? So they're not very smart with their money. How many of you know people like this जिनके पास पैसा आया भी और गया भी and उनको समझ नहीं आया क्या हुआ, घूम घाम के वही जीरो पे जीरो आ गए? Give me a K in the chat box if you've known people like this. Okay, yeah, हम होता है कभी कभार, हमारे साथ भी होता है. So again, the greats, they're very smart with them. Okay, they're very smart in terms of how they should manage their money. उनको पता है कि अगर मैं 100 रुपए कमा रहा हूं तो मुझे 20 रुपए लेकर उसको कहीं अपना सेविंग के अंदर डालना है, right? Like, and I don't say save for a rainy day. A lot of people will tell you save for a rainy day. Okay, कोई लोग आपको बोलेंगे save for a contingency. मैं आपको एक एडवाइस दे रहा हूं, never ever save for a rainy day, never ever save for contingency. Because if you save for a rainy day, तो आपके पास एक rainy day ही आएगा, ठीक है? बरसात होगी और आप भीग जाओगे. अगर आप कंटिजेंसी के लिए सेव करोगे, कंटिजेंसी मतलब प्रॉब्लम के लिए सेव करोगे, तब आपकी लाइफ में कंटिजेंसी और प्रॉब्लम्स ही आएंगे. उसके जगह आप उस फंड को जो 20% आप निकालते हैं, कॉल इट अपॉर्चुनिटीज फंड. ओके, OPPORTUNITY, अपॉर्चुनिटी फंड. तो जब आप उसको अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए सेव करोगे तो आपके लाइफ में अपॉर्चुनिटी ही आएगी. Okay, but again, the greats are people who are very smart with their money. They always know that ठीक है बॉस, अभी है कि लेटेस्ट फोन आया ओप्पो का, वीवो का, सैमसंग का, एप्पल का, मतलब जाके बॉस अभी खरीद लो, क्रेडिट कार्ड पे तो स्वाइप मारना है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? बट अगर आप अभी थोड़ा सैक्रिफाइस करोगे, उस पैसे को आप मे बी आप इन्वेस्ट करोगे, एब्सोल्युटली राइट. अगर आप एक आरडी में डालोगे, एफडी में डालोगे. I'll tell you a crazy story, right? I was, how old was I when I met Mrinalini? Maybe I was, so Mrinalini is my wife, and I met her at the age of when I was 23 years old. So I met her when I was 23 years old, and she said that, tell me about your savings. What do you save? And I said, मतलब वो क्या होता है यार? मतलब savings तो हमने कभी की नहीं. And Vandana is smiling because she knows the life that we used to live. पैसे आते थे, उसको उड़ा देते थे. सबसे पहले मेरा credit card आया. First thing I ran to Khan Market and I bought a music system, and I said I'll just pay back the minimum payment every month. 5 साल लग गए उस music system के पैसे देते देते, मतलब interest में ही हवा निकल गई. So the point is, banks want us to spend, credit card companies want us to spend. But if you ever get a credit card, okay, always ensure that you pay off the full amount of that credit card. Okay, never keep credit card debt. It's the worst kind of debt. So come back to the story. Mrinalini said, "Tell me about your savings. What are your savings?" And I said, "मैं तो आज तक save नहीं किया कभी यार." And she's like, if you want to marry me, you have to start saving something. And I'm like, okay, I need to start saving something. But it was a very tough time. I was struggling myself. But I said, you know what? मैं लोधी रोड पोस्ट ऑफिस जाके 1,000 रुपए का एक रिकरिंग डिपॉजिट जरूर खोलूंगा. And the first deposit, the first saving that I started doing myself was when I was almost 23 years old. When I started in post office of Lodhi Road, I started that 1,000 rupee deposit. Okay, and then it just became a habit, where it almost became like, okay, आज मुझे ये खरीदना है, लेटेस्ट फोन खरीदना है कि बैंक में 5,000 रुपए डालने हैं. ऐसे छोड़ यार, मतलब बैंक में पैसा डाल दें, स्टॉक मार्केट में पैसा डाल दें, जो भी है, राइट? सो इट बिकम्स लाइक अ हैबिट. सो अगेन, द ग्रेट्स आर वेरी वेरी स्मार्ट विद देयर मनी. पैसा आता है, but they know how to take it out, how to multiply it, how to grow it. Okay, so that is something very very important. Opportunity cost, absolutely. So if you understand this part, give me money, MONEY in the chat box. Okay, that money is important, but we also have to be smart with how we manage our money. Otherwise क्या होता है? Easy come, easy go. Okay, पैसा आया, पैसा गया, और हम वहीं zero के zero रह गए. It's not okay. Yeah, awesome, love it. Let's look at number 17. बहुत important है. Okay, the most successful people, the greats, are actually immune to negativity. मतलब जब उनके आसपास कोई कुछ नेगेटिव बोलते हैं ना, तो they just close their ears only. Like बहुत सुनना ही नहीं हमको. ओके मतलब ना तो वो नेगेटिव टॉक में एंगेज करते हैं, ना किसी के बारे में वो बुरा बोलते हैं, सो दे डोंट टॉक नेगेटिव अराउंड एनीवन और अबाउट एनीवन, दे डोंट गॉसिप, ओके, दे डोंट डू एनी ऑफ दोस थिंग्स, सो देयर इज नो नेगेटिविटी अराउंड देम। ओके मेरे ऑफिस में भी ऐसा स्टिकर लगा हुआ है, ओके बड़ा सा स्टिकर लगा है, तो जब कोई आके बैठता है कुछ बोलता है ना, मैं उनको स्टिकर दिखाता हूँ ऐसे, बॉस नो नेगेटिविटी अलाउड हियर, अगर किसी के बारे में कुछ बोलना है से समथिंग गुड और डोंट से एनीथिंग एट ऑल, ओके, बट डोंट कम एंड क्रिटिसाइज कंप्लेन एंड से खत्म हो गई, इकोनॉमी ऐसी है, मोदी जी ऐसे हैं, कांग्रेस ऐसा है, राहुल गांधी ऐसा है, बहुत सुनना ही नहीं मुझे यार, right? So it's all about the fact that you don't want to say negative things and you don't want to be around people who say negative things too much as well. So be immune to negativity. If you get this one, give me a NO in the chat box that no negativity allowed here, and that is going to be your mantra as well. Awesome, love it. Yeah, very, very powerful one. Okay, we have 18, 19, and 20. Three more to go, and then of course we'll open this up for Q&A as well. I hope you're finding this useful. Give me a useful USEFUL if you're finding this useful. If you're thinking that okay, these are things that can help me. Awesome, lovely, good to see all the usefuls coming in the chat box. Let's go number 18. Okay, again, one of the guys who changed my life when I met him in 2018 I met him, yeah. So Tony Robbins, big guy, and इनने एक जो line लिखी है जो उनके फोटो के साथ है, बहुत important line है, and it says the quality of your life is the quality of your communication. ओके इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है कि इसका आप स्क्रीनशॉट ले लें, फोटो ले लें, लिख भी लें, लिख के उसको सर्कल भी कर लें, अंडरलाइन भी कर लें, बिकॉज चीज़ ये है कि अगर आपकी कम्युनिकेशन आपके आसपास के लोगों के साथ अच्छी नहीं है, इफ योर कम्युनिकेशन इज नॉट गुड, अगेन विद योर फैमिली मेंबर्स, विद योर रिलेटिव्स, विद योर फ्रेंड्स, विद योर कोलीग्स, एवरीथिंग इज गोना गो डाउन. Okay, so it's very, very important to focus on communication. Okay, then that's very, very important between husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, parent and child, parent and grandparent, you and your friends. It's very, very important. So communication is very important. So always communicate. अगर आपको कुछ लग रहा है कि there's something that I can't share, I have to keep it inside me. Again, always find someone that you can communicate with. Always have someone that you can open up to. Okay, that's very, very important trait. So remember this: the quality of your life is the quality of your communication. अगर आपको great life चाहिए है, have great communication. If you want a good life, have good communication. If you want to have a bad life, okay, which I wish for no one, then have bad communication. Okay, if you get it, give me a 18 in the chat box that we understand the quality of our life is the quality of our communication. Right? Awesome, love that. Okay, second last one coming up, number 19. Okay, the greats understand that failure is a stepping stone to success. They know that boss, agar hum kuch naya start karenge, kuch try karenge, anything that we try, we will fail at times. Okay, people have failed so often. I mean, I remember there used to be this thing about Edison, right? Edison made the light bulb. And there's a saying that Edison failed, I think, 999 times before on the 1000th attempt he actually succeeded. तो सपोज वो मतलब उसी टाइम अपना सोचते कि भाई मेरे से तो नहीं होगा, मतलब आज अंधेरा ही होता, मतलब लाइट बल्ब नहीं होता, एटलीस्ट एडिसन का लाइट बल्ब तो नहीं होता हमारे पास, राइट? थिंक अबाउट गाइज लाइक और गर्ल्स, लुक एट जेके रोलिंग, राइट? I'm sure you all have heard of Harry Potter, and Harry Potter की पिक्चर देखी होगी या किताब पढ़ी होगी. So again, like she was rejected so many times with her book. She went to publisher after publisher after publisher. Everyone said, boss, no good, nahi hoga. Okay, before I think Bloomsbury finally came to her and said, okay, you know what, I think we'll give you a chance. Today J.K. Rowling is one of the richest authors, okay, in the world, richest. But कितनी बारी उसकी रिजेक्शन हुई, I think वो मतलब याद ही नहीं है उसको. And हम सबके लाइफ में हुआ है. There have been times where we have tried something and we failed. Okay, how many of you have that happened? To give me a Emmy in the chat box कि आपने कुछ try किया और आप उसमें fail हुए. Okay, yeah, awesome. I'm seeing all those memes coming in. I mean, it's happened to me so many times, I cannot even tell you, right? But the point is, what you want to do is you want to get back up again and you want to try again and again and again. And sometimes there'll be 2 failures, 3 failures, 4 failures. Boss Edison, 999 failures, okay, before the 1000th time he succeeded. So always know this: you will try, you will fail, but eventually you will try and you will succeed. Okay, if you get this, give me a GT in the chat box that we get this, we understand this, that yes, we will try, we will fail, we will try, but we'll eventually succeed. Awesome, love it, super. All right, awesome, good stuff. And then we come to 20th, and this is, ladies and gentlemen, the most important of them all. क्योंकि अगर आपके लाइफ में ये चीज नहीं है ना तो कुछ नहीं है. You have to have gratitude. Okay, so like I said, gratitude is the best attitude. Matlab, theek hai, things could be going wrong for you. Okay, but you should still get up in the morning and say, at least I'm alive. Okay, at least I'm healthy. At least I'm well enough to go out there and do something. And at night, when it's time to come and sleep, okay, maybe it wasn't the best day today, but when your head hits the pillow, just say a small prayer. No, I mean, whatever you believe in. I mean, it could be God, could be upper being, could be whatever force you believe in. Always practice gratitude and always say, you know what, today was a great day, and I'm sure tomorrow, will be better. So, very, very important to practice gratitude. Be thankful, okay? Be thankful to your parents who brought you up. Be thankful to siblings. Be thankful to your teachers who taught you. Be thankful to your people, like your owners who are basically providing jobs, providing opportunities. Be grateful to people who are providing opportunities, and more. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thankful to you. I'm grateful to all of you. I'm grateful that I could share some of these things today. I'm grateful to all 23 of you who are here today on this call, and others who will actually listen in later. I'm grateful to Vandana for when we were children, spending so much time that she did with us, and help us to be always inquisitive, and playing games, and doing all those kind of things, right? I'm grateful to her mom. I mean, she was such an anchor for us, right? So gratitude is something that is extremely, extremely important. And if there's one thing, like I said, okay, always be grateful. आप बोलेंगे यार मेरी तो लाइफ ही बेकार है, ऐसा है वैसा है. Okay, it's very, very important to be grateful. Okay, very, very important. That was the 20th one. um Again, just know this, that in life, there will be problems, there will be issues. No one's life is only up and away, boss. No one. Okay, the other day I was reading, Richard Branson, Virgin Group के chairman, उनकी भी 4-5 businesses ठप हो रहे हैं, उनको भी समझ नहीं आ रहा, उनके भी issues हो रहे हैं. So the point is, everyone has issues. अभी Jeff Bezos is fighting with someone else, and ये दुनिया की सबसे अमीर लोग हैं. इश्यूज बॉस, गौतम अदानी को इश्यूज हो रहे हैं अभी यार. उसका भी हिंडनबर्ग का केस हो गया, उसकी भी शेयर वैल्यू कहां से कहां गिर गई. सो द प्रॉब्लम इज देयर विल ऑलवेज बी प्रॉब्लम्स, राइट? दे विल कम, but just know that even in the midst of every difficulty, okay, there will be opportunity. I think Einstein wrote that, and it's a super quote as well, that no matter how big the problem, okay, there will always be an opportunity, there will always be a solution. And that is something that is actually paramount as well. And in the end, I just want to end with one particular story. And it's a story that really resonates with me as well. And I do tell this in a lot of my trainings as well. It's actually a story about the chicken and the eagles. Have you heard this story before? Give me a H if you've heard it. Give me an NH if you've not heard the story. So NH if you've not heard, H if you've actually heard. Okay, so a lot of NHs, coming in the chat box. Let me tell you this particular story as well. So imagine this. Okay, there is a mountain. So there's a mountain, and on top of this mountain, there's a eagle's nest. Okay, so nest with eagle's nest with some eggs and all that. And at the base of this mountain, okay, so at the bottom of the mountain, there is a farm. And in this farm, there's some sheep, and there's some goats, and there's some cows, there's some pigs, and there are also some chickens, and there's also a chicken's nest. So एक दिन क्या होता है that there's an earthquake. Okay, and in that earthquake, one of those eggs from the eagle's nest, okay, it rolls all the way down the mountain, doesn't break. हो सकता है फेविकॉल का जोड़ हो, right? So it doesn't break, rolls all the way down, and it mixes with the chicken eggs. Okay, now some time passes, and the eggs hatch, the eagle eggs hatch, and the chicken eggs hatch. Okay, and amongst all those chickens, you now have one eagle. Okay, and in the afternoon, when the chickens would come out to play, and the eagles were flying on top, and this eagle would look up at the sky and say, boss, mujhe bhi udna chahiye, I should also be up there, right? And the chickens, okay, the so-called brothers and sisters, they're not actually brothers and sisters, but साथ पले थे, वही उनकी संगत थी. तो they look at him and they say that, boss, you're not an eagle, you're a chicken. Okay, and chickens don't fly. And that eagle kept looking up and then kept thinking, boss, ये तो बोल रहे हैं, सही बोल रहे होंगे, मैं तो chicken हूँ, मैं तो eagle ही नहीं हूँ. And hence that eagle never tried to fly. Okay, it just ended up living its life like a chicken, and died the life of a chicken. And the moral of the story being this is that anytime someone tells you कि आप नहीं कर पाओगे, you don't have the um, you know I don't know, the resources, or you don't have the support, or you don't have the capital, okay, just know that these are the chickens. और इन लोग जब आपको ऐसी चीजें बोलते हैं ना, आप अपने कान बंद कर लो और आप यही याद रखना that boss, this is not a chicken, okay, I am an eagle and eagles will fly. So chicken or eagle, which one are you going to be? Give me a C or a E in the chat box. Because the thing is, okay, sometimes, okay, chickens don't get the best result, right? Chickens don't get the best result. You have to be out there to soar. You have to be the biggest, best version of yourself. Eagles are respected. Eagles are looked up to. Eagles are on the presidential seal of the, the United States president. एंड चिकन तो बॉस मतलब कल लंच के अंदर बटर चिकन बन के किसी रेस्टोरेंट के अंदर सर्व हो जाएगा, राइट? You don't want to have that mindset. You want to have the eagle mindset. Never let anyone tell you that आप नहीं कर पाओगे, it's not going to be possible, you're not good enough, you're not any of those things, right? I know so many people came and told me, like my own family members, okay, like some cousins and distant friends, they said पता नहीं क्या कर रहा है, बेकार है, मतलब इससे तो better है कि matlab tu karai kari mat ye, and all of those kind of things. And today all those people are come back and saying, oh, can you help get my daughter a job, and can you do this for them, and all of that. So what goes around comes around. I think that's a very important aspect as well. So again, it's been super addressing all of you, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. Like I said, there are some of those things that you may already be doing. I'd love to know that out of those 20, how many are you already doing, already? So we had 20 things that popped up. Mota moti, how many of these things do you think you're already doing? Put them in the chat box as well. And we will open this up for some Q&A and questions. And if you have any questions, of course, I will be happy to answer those as well. So let's stop